Hello and welcome to the daily cricket show, Cricket Happenings. I'm welcoming you with a big blast coming in from the Bristol ground in England, where the third one day was played between West Indies and England, and there was a real blast happening when Moeen Ali, who had just scored 39 at run a ball, suddenly exploded and he scored 102 runs of 57 balls to smash the fastest ODI 100 ever scored in England. And in fact, if you look at it, he took 12 balls to reach his century. That was stunning, according to me. He absolutely manhandled Jason Holder and Cummins by depositing them with tremendous regularity for sixes, and in the strike rate over the last 18 balls he faced was 350. So that will really give you the feeling that what was the blast that I was talking about. 48 runs were scored in 10 balls with 8 sixes. This 14 the last 12 balls, he was simply absolute dynamite, Moeen Ali. And from a score where England would have probably not even expected that, suddenly the whole Bristol ground was transformed, and the England innings was transformed into a mighty score of 369, which proved absolutely enough to actually win the ODI series here against England when they won the second one-day international by bowling out the West Indians for 245. Liam Plunkett going on to take 5 wickets, but it was all about Moeen Ali, who had scored 39 to run a ball, and he exploded, and he went on to score 102 runs of 57 balls, the last 50 coming in just 12 deliveries with some spanking boundaries and some glorious sixes hit by Moeen Ali, which I'll be talking about. As far as the other match was concerned, India actually closed the series for the Australians by picking up a victory by 5 wickets, where India were given on a very small ground at the Holkar Stadium in Indore. As I said, India were given a target of 293 to chase, and India chased it with 5 wickets to spare. And they got a fan. It was Hardik Pandya, the all-rounder, who is absolutely growing in stature as far as international popularity is concerned as a cricketing all-rounder, as he smashed 78 runs at a very crucial time. India promoted, and as Virat Kohli in the post-match press conference alluded to, it was all Ravi Bai. So Ravi Shastri was the one who prompted that move, because he knew that Manish Pandey, who was still persisted with today, had been struggling at number 4. So he decided to send in Hardik Pandya to just keep up the momentum, and that was a killer instinct move made by the Indians, I thought. And Hardik Pandya lived up to that with a smashing innings of 78 runs. What a knock from Hardik Pandya. As I said, he has been growing in stature as far as international popularity is concerned as an all-rounder. I mean, every facet of his game is growing by leaps and bounds. And he also bowled the full quota of 10 overs, and he picked up a big wicket of Warner, and he's showing that Hardik Pandya now is really maturing as one of the greatest all-rounder, one of the best all-rounders that India would have ever produced. So it's just starting to begin right now, I would say. So these are the two matches. So, but first I would rather start off with the England versus West Indies match. As England versus West Indies, as I said, was Moeen Ali, all about Moeen Ali. So we will first keep our eyes trained on that. So this was a match, the third one-day international, which was played at the Bristol ground in Glamorgan, and it was simply scintillating stuff coming in from Moeen Ali. So it was the West Indians winning the toss and inserting the English into bat. So Jonathan Bairstow and Alex Hales opened up the innings. Jonathan Bairstow was an early goner as Jason Holder bowled a ball which held up on him, and Jonathan Bairstow gave a tame return catch to Holder. He was gone for 13 of 17 deliveries, 1-4 and 1-6. And after that, Alex Hales was there. Alex Hales indulged himself in making 36 of 35 deliveries, 5 fours, and then we saw Morgan getting a first ball duck as he was out for the very first delivery that he received from Holder, as he was caught by Hope. And suddenly this England innings was really looking in a bit of strife at 83 for 3. Yes, they were 83. They were 74 for 3 in fact in the 12th over. But Joe Root had just come in and was just getting himself in at that particular stage. And Cummins had taken 2 wickets. Holder had taken Cummins had taken 1 wicket, I suppose. Holder had taken 2 wickets, and suddenly, and then we had a wonderful partnership that happened between Joe Root and Ben Stokes, who really started stitching a partnership, not taking any risks, and slowly getting the innings along. But in the process, they really started opening up once they had done the initial part of it, and the runs were suddenly starting to come in torrents, I would say, as it was a 132 runs partnership that happened, and it was done in 20 overs. So definitely a big sense of urgency coming in there as runs started coming in thick and fast. And that was the time the next wicket to go was Joe Root himself, as Cummins came back for his second spell, who was really bowling well, I thought. And Joe Root's contribution was 84 of 79 deliveries, 7 fours and 2 sixes. Ben Stokes powered himself to 73 of 63 deliveries, 5 fours and 3 sixes. Butler was a very early victim of the bowling of Cummins, lost his stumps to Cummins for 4 balls. And that was that. Moeen Ali and Vokes were at the crease. There were 2 new batsmen at the crease with the score reading 217 for 6 when Joe Root departed. And then slowly Moeen Ali was just getting himself in, and he had already taken himself to 39 in 39 balls. So runabout stuff from Moeen Ali. At the other end, Vokes was doing his part as well in a very good way, giving good company to Moeen Ali. But after that, it was Moeen Ali going absolutely berserk as he manhandled the West Indies bowlers, especially the one who really came under his blade was none other than Jason Holder, the captain of the West Indian team, who went for 27 runs in a single over, and mayhem. It was absolute mayhem as far as Moeen Ali was concerned, as he totally went into the 5th gear, I would say, as he went on to smash a century of just 57 balls. And as I said, his next 50 taking just 12 deliveries and an amazing strike rate at that. He had made 39 of the first 39 balls at the end of the 44th over, and then this England innings was totally transformed as he launched into Miguel Cummins and Jason Holder and started depositing them with absolute regularity into the spectators, as he scored 48 runs of 2 overs from Miguel Cummins and Jason Holder to really push himself to a century. And that was done in just 10 balls. It was tremendous hitting from Moeen Ali, and what an onslaught it was. It was an onslaught which one would have really gone miles to watch. A wonderful onslaught from Moeen Ali. Absolutely, he really tore Jason Holder and Miguel Cummins by pulling them for some magnificent sixes. And this was done, as I said, with tremendous power, tremendous timing, and it was an absolute treat to watch Moeen Ali absolutely murder the West Indies bowlers. And it was simply scintillating stuff from Moeen Ali, as he was the one who powered the Englishmen to 369 for 9. In fact, Vokes was a mere spectator from the score left from 217 to 334. 117, there was runs just galloped, I would say. 11 overs, and there was a 117 run partnership. Can you believe it? Moeen Ali 102 of 57 deliveries, 7 fours and 8 sixes, absolutely murdered the West Indian bowling. Vokes made 34 of 34 deliveries, 1 4, 1 6, Plunkett 9, and Willie was not out 1, Rashid was not out of 9, and 369 for 9 was raised by Englishmen, thanks to Moeen Ali, who really smashed it all across the park today. Jerome Taylor, 10 overs, 1 for 75. Holder was put to the tune of 81 runs with just 2 wickets. Cummins disappeared for 82 of his 9 with 3 wickets. Bishu 5 overs for 33. Nurse was swamped for 8 overs, 1 for 59. Roman Powell 8 overs, was the only one who bowled with a semblance of respectability, as he got 1 wicket for 38 runs. Now, as far as the West Indies were concerned, they were set with a huge target to chase of 369. The only man who really exploded in the way that he normally can was Chris Gayle, who really started doing what Moeen Ali was doing at the later stage of the English innings. But Gayle started it all up first up as he smashed 94 of 78 deliveries, 9 fours and 6 sixes. And when Gayle smashes it, it is never a surprise, because Gayle is a smashing player, as we all know. Evan Lewis was dismissed early. He was out for 13 of 8 deliveries, and other than that, it was not much. Jason Holder, probably towards the end, made 34 of 26, 1 4 and 3 sixes. 38 coming in from Jason Mohammed, 53 balls, 3 fours, 1 6. 20 from Shai Hope of 25, 4 fours. Marlon Shamus, 11 of as many balls with 1 4. 8 from Roman Powell, and it was not easy. And I mean, they went down, as I said, to only Chris Gayle, who did all the smashing. Other than that, Holder did a bit of his own stuff, but it was not really enough. Nash was out for 1, Bishu was out for 12, Taylor not 4 to Cummins, and the West Indies winded up at 245, thus giving a very big victory to this Englishman by 124 runs. The bowling, Liam Plunkett was amongst the wickets. He picked up his 5-wicket bag, 8.1 overs, no maiden, 52 runs and 5 wickets, 3 for 34 for Adil Rashid, 4 overs for 25 for Stokes. Moeen Ali himself got a bit of mauling there, 10 overs went for 65, and he was the man of the match as well. Liam Plunkett 8.5 52, 1 for 34 for Willie. Wokes I thought bowled well, 10 was none for 32, and Moeen Ali, no prizes for guessing, was the man of the match. England leading the 5-match series 2-0 with 2 more to come in this particular series. Now I'm going to very swiftly shift the attention down to the third ODI, India versus Australia, and the toss was it was a very good toss to win for Australia, and the luck went Stephen Smith's way, and Australia decided to bat first. The Australia decided to bat first. As I said, it was the one good thing was that the Holker Stadium indoor had short boundaries, and one was definitely expecting. I thought Australia definitely lost their way. They were in the driver's seat, I would say, as they were at one stage they were 224 for 1 in the 38th over, and after that, once again, that same problem that the captain was alluding to, it was the spectacular collapse from the Aussies. What a knock from Aaron Finch. Aaron Finch went on to plunder, coming back from his calf injury. He never showed any signs of the calf injury. He got into his groove absolutely immediately. And what was good about Aaron Finch was the way he handled the wrist spinners, Kuldeep Yadav and Yuzvendra Chahal. Kuldeep Yadav was deposited for, I think, 3 sixes by Aaron Finch. Chahal went for 2. And Aaron Finch was a picture of absolutely great stroke making. He took full advantage of the short boundaries there, as David Warner made 42, and was one of the Hardik Pandya's off-cutters that had David Warner clean bowl for 42 or 44 deliveries, 4 fours and 1 6. But Aaron Finch was the one who did the maximum damage by smashing 124 of 125 deliveries, 12 fours and 5 magnificent sixes. As I said, he was the one who really got a handle on the Indian spinners. Stephen Smith smashed 63. I mean, he made 63 or 71 deliveries. But as I said, everything was going well till such time Aaron Finch was there, and the Aussies were really looking at the driver's seat at 224 for 1 in the 38th over, and were definitely expected a score in excess of 350 runs. But the Indian bowlers really came back in a marvellous manner, a very disciplined bowling. The spinners, the pace bowlers, Bumrah and Bhuvneshwar Kumar towards the end, really had this Australian innings under absolute control, as the Australians were restricted to 293 for 6. Maxwell once again was really lured out of the crease. Once again, the same trick that Yuzvendra Chahal has been using, the third time that Glenn Maxwell has fallen victim to Yuzvendra Chahal, the right-arm leggy, as he slipped in a wide delivery outside the off stump, and Maxwell went for the bait, and Dhoni behind the stumps once again into business, getting his 100th ODI stumping, and Maxwell has gone for 13 deliveries. Head lost his stumps to Bumrah for 4. Stoinis, as he did in the first previous match, stayed out there and made an unbeaten 27. But there the Hanscom came in. Hanscom was a victim of Bumrah for 3. Agar was not out on 9 of 6 and 293 for 6. I thought the Indian bowlers doing a marvellous job. Where the Australians were looking like cruising to in excess of 350, were kept to 293, which finally I thought in the end it really proved the difference in their defeat. And India not only taking this ODI series, right now leading the ODI series and also winning the ODI series, but the fact that India has gone to #1 ranking as far as ICC ODI spots are concerned. So Bhuvaneshwar Kumar, 10 overs none for 52. Bumrah, 10 overs 2 for 52. Chahal, 1 for 54. Pandya, 10 overs 1 for 58. Did his job pretty well today. Kuldeep Yadav disappeared for 75, but Kohli persisted with him and his returns were 2 for 75. Now, it was the turn of the Indian batsmen, and the Indian batsmen Rahane and Ajinkya Rahane and Rohit Sharma starting in right earnest, and they gave a firm reply, replying to that particular score. Ajinkya Rahane, I would say Rohit Sharma was the one who had a different feature of play today. What was good to see about Rohit Sharma was that it was his boldness in coming down the wicket, taking advantage of the short boundaries by first slamming Nathan Coulter-Nile straight over the pickets for a 6. Then he turned his attention to the other pace bowler. I think it was Cummins who was swung over deep square leg for a 6. And then the shot of the day coming. What a shot! A stunning shot from Rohit Sharma as Rohit Sharma swung Kane Richardson out of the Holkar Stadium in Indore. The ball went out of the ground. It was a massive 6. And Rohit Sharma, what a player. I mean, he hit 4 6s in all and 6 4s in a spanking knock of 71 of 62 balls. Ajinkya Rahane was all about finesse. But what was good about Ajinkya Rahane, they knew that this pitch, they could trust the bounce, and they also knew that runs were not hard to come by on this particular track. And Ajinkya Rahane, we saw that Ajinkya Rahane also advanced down the track. There was a lot of shimmy down the track by Ajinkya Rahane to the Australian bowlers. He also went and attacked Cummins. He went and attacked the other pace bowlers as well. As Ajinkya Rahane also showed some finesse in his stroke making. As Ajinkya Rahane and Rohit Sharma put on a wonderful opening partnership of 139 runs to really set the tone for the other Indian batsmen. 139 in 21.4 overs. The Rahane's contribution being 70 of 76 Ws, 9 4s. Rohit Sharma making 71 of 62 with 6 4s and 4 6s. Kohli and Pandya, and then suddenly one was thinking whether Manish Pandey is going to come as he was out of form, but there was a surprise which was sprung with Hardik Pandya made to get into the firing lineup. And Hardik Pandya, what to say about him? Virat Kohli was keeping the scoreboard ticking, but Hardik Pandya was simply stunning. I mean, every time one sees Pandya, there is something or the other happening. And Hardik Pandya, let me tell you, he welcomed Ashton Agar with a 6 as soon as he came to the crease. Then made sure that Ashton Agar has to alter his length, otherwise he was going to once again disappear. But once again Ashton Agar came back, and what was stunning about Hardik Pandya was the way he handled Ashton Agar. The ball was dipping in. It was a flat delivery. Hardik Pandya, absolutely no leg movement. The ball was swung deep, wide and handsome into the spectators for a 6. And then he crashed another boundary. And what is good is the way Hardik Pandya picks up the length. Absolutely no movement. He believes in raw power like Mahendra Singh Dhoni, and that's what he precisely did. And it was a treat to watch Hardik Pandya. And Hardik Pandya was also, and let me tell you, Hardik Pandya, what he has done to the Aussies is that he has started riling them. So the Australians were always in the ear of Hardik Pandya. They were chirping a lot. There were a lot of things being told by Peter Hanscom behind the wickets. Sometimes it was the other bowlers like Marcus Stoinis, the bowling Cummins was doing a bit of talking with Pandya, and Pandya and Kohli were there, but Pandya was absolutely unperturbed. He was also, voicing a few words, and suddenly things were looking at this Indian innings with Hardik Pandya, who had really was in smashing form. What a knock from Hardik Pandya, and he was really showing where he belongs as an all-rounder. What a knock from him. Virat Kohli unfortunately played a poor shot, I thought, just coming towards the end. He was gone for 28 of 35 with two boundaries. And Hardik Pandya, Kedar Jadhav was the only one who failed on this particular track. He was a victim of the bowling. Richardson for 2. But Hardik Pandya, what it has done to the opposition is that Hardik Pandya has started riling the players because of his exploits. The players are really know that a psychological battle against Hardik Pandya might probably try to make him succumb to pressure. But Hardik Pandya is not the one. Hardik Pandya definitely did his job. Just 9 runs before the Indians were to actually win this match. He departed, caught Richardson ball Cummins, but not before making 78 of just 72 deliveries, 5 fours and 4 sixes. Manish Pandey came in. Manish Pandey playing those unorthodox manner that the commentators were talking about. And Manish Pandey is a very difficult batsman to bowl to, let me tell you. He played all sorts of strokes, which was probably even out of the book. But certain strokes, I have to say, hats off to Pandey. Pandey definitely walked into some form with an unbeaten 36 of just 32 deliveries, 6 fours. Dhoni was not out on 3. The game over. India had won the match by 5 wickets. India went on the top of the ICC ODI rankings, and also they have already won the series. The bowling figures, Cummins, Hardik Pandya definitely was the choice of the man of the match. There's no doubt about it. The all-rounder was named man of the match. Patrick Cummins, 10 overs, no made in 254. I thought he bowled well. Coulter Nile, 10 overs, 1 for 58. Kane Richardson, 8.5 overs, no made in 1 for 45. Stoinis, 8 overs, was cracked for 61. Ashton Agar, 10 overs, 1 for 71. Received a bigger spanking from Hardik Pandya. Maxwell, 1 over, none for 2. Match over. India actually winning the match by 5 wickets and taking the ODI series. So with the 4th one coming up at Bengaluru on September 28. So unfortunately, dear fans, subscribers, I won't be able to get into any of those cricket news today. The only news that I could really talk about is that the New Zealand, who are going to be coming to India, have selected their squad of the ODIs. But I don't have time to really relay any information right now. Probably you can keep an eye on Twitter, where I will be chirping on Twitter. Well, dear fans and subscribers, it was a pleasure bringing you this daily cricket show of mine today. Hope you all enjoyed it. More to come on my next cricket show. This is your host Ram signing off for the day. Thank you.